The more you try to not notice, the louder it gets. Sound familiar? I'm sure it does if you're struggling with sensorimotor OCD. And no matter if it's you getting stuck on your swallowing, on your breathing, on blinking, or some other bodily process, whenever we start resisting that awareness, when we try to push it away, when we tell ourselves, I just need to get rid of it and then I can live my life, then I can be happy, then I can start connecting with people again and doing all these things again. That is really kind of what keeps us stuck. You may have heard that famous quote, what you resist persists. And, it's actually really apt in this situation. If you try to resist bodily awareness, really all you're actually doing is you're giving it more and more attention. You're giving it more and more energy. What we have to recognize is there's a difference between active and passive awareness. When you're actively engaged with the awareness, really what's going on is you're ruminating on it, you're fighting with it, you're trying to get rid of it. And all of that stuff is obviously kind of keeping you stuck and it's making it worse. Also, if you are struggling with sensorimotor OCD, I do now have a 12-week program to help you to break free. It's based on my own personal experiences of dealing with these things and also having helped now many people to break free from it. If you're interested in applying for that, you can head over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com, and book in there for a free discovery call. So, if you're really actively engaged with kind of resisting, that's a problem. But if you're just kind of passively aware of these things, that isn't a problem. And I think understanding that and really gauging that and getting that is actually an essential part of overcoming sensorimotor OCD. When you realize that the awareness itself is not actually a problem. You didn't ask to be aware of this. You're not forcefully making yourself aware of it. It's kind of unconscious in a way, pretty much like intrusive thoughts. This is just really intrusive awareness. It's the same kind of thing. It's just coming up, whether you like it or not right now, because you've spent so much time resisting it, trying to not experience it. You've given so much energy to it so that your mind or your subconscious keeps kind of bringing it up into the spotlight of your attention. So actually what this is passive awareness. Passive awareness is not really a problem. It's just something that's going on there in the background. And if it's there and it's there, try if you can to be more kind with it, to be more accepting of it, to be more compassionate. And this is where activities like trying to move towards the awareness can be really helpful. So often what we're really doing is, of course, we're resisting, and that's that active awareness. So instead, if you can learn to be interested in those difficult sensations, if you can try to move towards them on purpose, try to feel them, try to allow them, try to go into them a bit more. You don't need to do that the whole day. I think sometimes people say to me, but do I need to just sit there and pay attention to it on purpose the whole time? Like a really long exposure activity. And no, that's not really what I'm talking about here. That might feel like the right thing to do, stay with it until the anxiety goes down. But I think inadvertently, if you're not careful, if you do that, you can just wind up making yourself even more aware of it. Because you're just kind of forcing yourself to pay attention to it too much. You're kind of giving it too much energy. But if you can choose to pay attention to it for a minute or two, where, you just really pay attention, you give it that interest, you actually become curious about those sensations. Really, what you're doing now is you're sending a different message to your body. You're saying that you're not so fearful of it, that you can spend a minute or two focusing in on it. And, that's a really healthy message to kind of send to your body. And then after you've done that, a really helpful thing is to think about, the principles of acceptance commitment therapy. This is where we choose to come back into the present moment by trying to focus our attention back onto our values and our goals. Ultimately, bodily actions most of the time are just reflexes. If we allow our bodies to just take over, they will. And one of the best ways that I've really found to do that is actually to come more into the present and to focus on helpful activities, things that bring you meaning, things that bring you joy, things that actually you would much rather be doing. So often we stop doing those things because we tell ourselves, I need to get rid of the awareness first, and it needs to be the other way round. First, we need to be doing the things that we care about. And when you do, well, you might then also begin to kind of let go of that conscious awareness of it. I know sensorimotor OCD can be a very difficult thing at times. I struggled with it for many, many years. But learning that this kind of passive awareness is not a problem. Trying to bring more compassion to it by allowing yourself to focus in on it for a minute or two. And then practicing acceptance commitment therapy to come back into the present. These are tools that can be really, really beneficial for it. So, if you want to give it a go, please do. And if you have any questions for me, do please let me know. Remember, I do now have a 12-week program specifically for sensorimotor OCD. If you're interested in applying for that, you can by heading over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com, and you can book in there for a free discovery call. Many thanks, and I will see you next time. This video is for education only. It's not therapy or medical advice. If you're struggling, please speak with a licensed mental health professional.